All right then, people. Yes, we're back once more. And as you know, it's not a Tuesday, it's a Wednesday, but you know what I mean? A certain go. And every time you're gonna be on the day where you set it for. But we are here same way, you know what I mean? Welcome to another episode of Creative Always Be. This episode is called Creative Always Be Producing High Quality Photographs. Kishmar Sherperd is a co founder and executive chief officer of New Visual Media. His love for photography began at the Barbados Community College, where he studied mass communication. However, it was at the University of West Indies Mona campus where Kishmar really honed in, honed his skills in and out of the classroom. He graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Media and Communication on television production and worked in Jamaica before returning to Barbados and establishing New Visual Media. On a daily basis, Kishmar draws on his creativity, technical skills, and critical thinking to manage the company and deliver high quality work to clients. His motto, always strive to be better. If you continually pursue excellence on a daily basis, you will always be among the greats. We are glad to have him on our show to get a sense of the scene in Barbados since COVID 19. So let's check out their show reel, New Visual. New Visual Media has done a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, in the Barbados space. So, what go, my brother? Kishmar
Good
Shepherd.
man. I hear I
Yeah,
hear in
so
the
you're there.
office still
You say in the
working.
office basically all the way over the next side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
A
a
lot of that
pleasure.
work that I was actually watching, a lot of that work is a lot of old work. We've done so much more since then. So it's good to look back sometimes and see how far you've come.
Okay. I'm glad for say yo. Yeah, you know, you do so much that you can even have all work, brother. I'm gonna say a lot of different visual night and some nice quality work. And it's a pleasure, brother, to have you up on the show. Man, not like as I say, yo, you know, you're all the way over the next side, you know what I mean? And it's a pleasure, but this is one of the things I'm always ask persons who come on to the show is um even though we read it in the in your bio, but how did you get started as a photographer, as a creative overall?
For me, I started as a writer. I was really into writing when it was like in high school and coming out of that. I decided to pursue a career in media. So that's why I did mass communications at the Barbados Community College after high school. So I was into writing, then I went to BCC and got into some photography and some video. And then I went to Cuba, and in Cuba I had an N95 Nokia N95 cell phone with a really good camera. This was back then, so I thought it was a really good camera. And in Cuba, I started taking pictures because I was in this new space. things I never saw before. That was my first time leaving Barbados and going somewhere else, and you know, capturing everything that I was seeing around me. That's how I got into photography. And then I left Cuba and came to Jamaica, and that's when it took off to a whole nother level. I met you. I met a lot of great people in Jamaica who, I mean, I was taking photos as a hobby in Cuba, but when I came to Jamaica and see the level that you guys were at, man, that made me like expanded my mind. I was like, wow, nah, I want to do this. And that's what really got me into photography heavy, heavy when I came to Jamaica.
Yeah, man, I'm glad. Shoot. I'm glad for hear say yo, you know what I mean? You basically come to Jamaica and get some inspiration, so to speak, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. I remember seeing a shot you took at it was at football, and it was a way shot of the stadium from the stands, and it was like, yo, this man's so hard. Like I would never forget that. And that was some inspiration for me. It was like, yo, I gotta get better.
Yeah, man. As I say, it's always good to one inspire and also make other creatives basically see work and like, oh, I like the level of work and I would have loved to be able to
Hmm.
capture work like this and stuff like that. So, as I say, oh, you know, basically go Cuba, you know, do photography as an hobby, and then you left from Cuba and basically come to Jamaica. And once you come to Jamaica for study, you realize, oh, the photography game in Jamaica is like way up here. You know what I mean? You like start to compare it from home, and you're like, no, sir, them are on a different level.
Yeah.
So I have to capture some of this and carry it back home, basically. So that is what
Yeah.
you basically, I would have said, do. And you capture some of the energy from Jamaica and you carry it back home and
Hmm.
created this company with a couple of friends. So let's speak about new visual media and let's talk about the stuff that new visual media is doing and basically has done over the years in Barbados basically and around the Caribbean because I know say anything large like that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, New visual media. We started in 2013. I came back from Jamaica a little after the summer. I was working in Jamaica for a little bit. I came back home to Barbados, and I had a good friend of mine. We from the same neighborhood, and he was doing film at UE in Barbados at Cave Hill. So I called him up. I was like, "Yo, be like, what you doing? We in the same field. Let me come together and start this company." And we did. We just came together and we started the company. And um, I used a lot of my old contacts. I was in journalism before because, like I said, I used to write and layout and design for the newspaper. So I went to the newspaper and told them, well, I'm doing video now. And at first they didn't really take me on, but then eventually video news started exploding, and that was the start for us. They called us in, and they gave us our first contract, and we were so fortunate to really get that contract, and that was the start of the journey. And since then, all the way back in 2013, we've done so much work. We've been all over the Caribbean. I got to go places that I never imagined I would get to go, meet people that I never imagined I would get to meet. Um, Having a camera in your hand, you know, gets you behind a lot of doors, and you see some things that the general public doesn't get to see. So it's really been amazing. We are positioning ourselves. I guess we've grown into this position as a regional media company, not just Barbados, not just Jamaica, Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, but we've really done a lot of work in St. Lucia, St. Kitts, St. Vincent, a lot of work in St. Vincent, all the way up to Belize. And how we do it is that, Shango, you would notice, we leverage our ability to attract high level clients, and we then take that work and we kind of manage it centrally in Barbados, but we pass it on to a lot of creatives across the region so that everyone can benefit from these projects. So it's really a collaborative effort. Is a passion of mine to really connect the region, because having lived in Jamaica and Cuba and been all over the region, I have so many friends from all these different islands, and we really are one Caribbean, and that's my biggest thing. Like, I just want people to realize that we are one Caribbean, and we can get so much done if we work together. That's my big life goal, to see the Caribbean really come together and work together and produce some amazing works, for the rest of the world to be in awe at. So that's what we do. We leverage work for creatives all over in the region, put it together here in Barbados, and give it to clients. Our clients, like I was saying, we attract high level clients. So UNDP, Caribbean Development Bank, Sagicor, like high level clients. And because of how our business is structured, we're able to let because we're pretty young guys, but how we carry ourselves, we try to be very professional. We try to be very, modern, cutting edge on the cusp of technology and on the cusp of production. And, clients feel very comfortable with us and they trust us. And, that has enabled us to keep claiming and claiming and claiming and claiming. And now we have clients outside of the Caribbean, and it keeps growing. It just never stops growing. And that's one of the most phenomenal things about what I do.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's amazing, bro. Like, we're glad to hear that because at the end of the day, as a business person, that is the whole aim. You know what I mean? To basically be as good as it can be with what you're doing and also grow. Because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not growing, then you know what I mean. Even if it's small growth, once you're growing, you basically can bring your
Mm-hmm.
business to a next level. And we're glad to
Yeah,
hear that.
man.
So we really have to talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant kind of come out of the room, and I probably think the elephant walk past Barbados now. But the elephant in the room
Yeah.
really is COVID-19. And how do you see COVID-19 now that it kind of not really there Barbados, and how do you view COVID-19, the impact it had on our industry, so to speak, I mean, media communication? How do you look at it? And just give me your take on COVID overall, so to speak.
COVID-19. So many thoughts on COVID-19. COVID-19 to me is a paradigm shift. So many things have changed. So many things have evolved, have been destroyed. Industries have been destroyed. Businesses have been destroyed, and then so many new things have arisen out of COVID-19. Like it really is just a paradigm shift, and it's up to us. It's up to individuals, up to creatives, up to businesses to pivot or to position yourself coming out of COVID-19 for the world of tomorrow. And if we stay positive and if we stay diligent and really pay attention to what's happening and try to find ways to be creative and be innovative and leverage new skills and new products and services to the world, then we'll be okay. I truly feel that. I truly feel that way. I think the Caribbean overall has handled COVID relatively well. We've been fortunate. We haven't had any, major spikes. I think Jamaica and Trinidad would probably the two islands with the biggest number of cases. And I see what the Jamaican government is doing. They're trying to get a handle on the situation. It's not easy, especially in a big society like Jamaica. In Barbados, we kind of have things more or less under control. The borders are opening back up, and that means things could go either way. But I'm confident. I'm an optimist at heart. I always think things are going to work out. So I think it will be overall it will be good for those who make it good, if that makes sense to you. Like it can be good for you if you make it good, if you really pay attention and use your brain and think and try to find ways to leverage new skills and new services, then you come out okay. If you want to sit back and complain that COVID just come and mash up my whole career, my whole company, whatever. If you sit back and complain about it, then I don't know how you're gonna fare, because this is the time to really put your hands to the till and work.
As I say, COVID is either a blessing or a curse. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it all comes down to you, because for some people they were overworked, they were stressed out and stuff like that. And when COVID happened, they must stress out themselves more, not realizing that COVID gave them a break. COVID give them the
Mm-hmm.
time to relax and kind of observe the world. You know what I mean? A lot of artists were traveling the world 365 days for the year, and them they really see them family and stuff like that. And COVID basically
Mm-hmm.
give them a 2 month to see them family, so to speak. So
Yeah.
a lot of
And maybe
persons
just
didn't necessarily what I call it now, them not necessarily look upon it the right way and with the right
Mm-hmm.
lens for really identify, say, yo, you know what I mean? It definitely impacted a lot of businesses and stuff like that, and it also created a lot of businesses because this what you're seeing right now is basically one of the COVID. Um, I wouldn't say invention because this could have happened before COVID, but COVID just propelled this to be something more. You know what I mean? More people want this type of energy, this type of vibe. So it's really a thing. Whereas for me, I see COVID as a blessing because of
Mm-hmm.
COVID, I have been struggling with this company, UBQT Studios, for a minute. You know, I mean, trying to do a lot of remote live, on location live streaming, not having the right clients, and as COVID happened, people just are chucked to me because I'm like, yo, we need the remote thing that we are talking about, and I've been saying, yo, we can do remote, so it's a thing where now that we COVID show people that importance, so to speak, of remote. That you know have to go everywhere. Now everybody have meet remote. You know what I mean? One time you'd have to drive somewhere to meet somebody and discuss. Now you can meet them in 15 minutes. The meeting started,
Mm-hmm.
finished, and we talk about everything. And we don't waste no gas. We know do a one bag of small talk. So I see COVID as you say, you know what I mean, it's basically a paradigm shift, and I believe it's a shift in a good direction too, because I believe it's saving a
Yeah.
lot of money, and it really transformed the people their mind in such a way that them like also we never have to do it the way they, and the banks they want to transform now. Everybody have to make sure say everything go digital. Clothing store now I say yo them want go digital.
Yeah.
E-commerce
Yeah.
up like it never up before. So you know what I mean, this just open up a lot of different things. You know what I mean, the bank them even now I try to make sure your international gateway payment gateways much better now. So I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad say yo,
Sure.
you know what I mean, something happened. Even though a whole heap of people dead from COVID, it's still
Yeah.
basically a turning point for the world, so to speak. And you know what I mean, it seemed like it have to
Yeah.
happen. It have to happen. So
Yeah.
um as I say
And
yo,
the
like
one thing constant in this world is change. Like things always keep changing. And I think for a long time, a lot of people got too stagnant, too comfortable with the way the status quo, the way things were. And I think now, that has totally been upended. And now is the time to really think about the changes you want to see, the new Caribbean, the new business landscape of Jamaica. As you said, e-commerce. In Barbados, we had the same thing. A lot of businesses we're very slow to adopt e-commerce platforms, but now is a mad rush to get onto e-commerce platforms and being able to pay online and pay with your card and have stuff delivered as opposed to having to go to the store. So it's change.
and as I say yo, one thing is constant is change. A lot of people don't
Mm-hmm.
realize, but things are always changing. Some things change faster than some, but things are always changing. So if you is a person as a creative who knows this, you know that things are always changing, and you position yourself, because I have been positioning myself for the last 2 to 3 years. I remember me sit down in a Barbados and me I tell about live streaming
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Me I pass through Barbados and I kind of share the vision and I say, yo, XYZ. But that was more
Yeah.
on location live streaming. And it's not that we
Mm-hmm.
can't do on location live streaming the way or we talk about it, but this just open up a whole new ball game that you can in a Barbados, and you can send me this feed for any company basically, and I am taking this feed and putting it anywhere with any amount of graphics and any amount of stuff. So that is the whole what I call now the crux of how things is now. Things just change, you know what I mean? And yeah, as I said, change is always happening. So you have to just make the best of the changes. And I want to try
Yeah.
and understand how you are, how new visual media is making the best of this change right now.
Well, I could give you a real practical example. Since we were going to do a forum for a client in Belize. And since COVID and all the travel restrictions, that forum was subsequently moved online. So it was an online forum, and we had a team in the UK that was handling the streaming and that kind of stuff. And then we had us here. We were putting together packages from Barbados to send out before, during, and after the forum. And we had high-level participants from the UN Secretary General, to people from World Bank, government ministers from all over the world, Europe, everywhere. They were all sending videos to us, to our team, and we were editing those videos together to create packages to put out on social media and stuff to build a lot of attention and conversation around the whole forum that was happening, which was about climate change. So being able, like you said, is about positioning. So New Visual Media, we've been positioning ourselves as a regional entity for the last, let's say, 4 years. Yeah, 4 years really. We've really been positioning ourselves as a regional entity. Now here comes this opportunity where that space is opened up, because instead of just operating around the region, you have the whole world, and people are sending you videos from all over the world. And because we have our server set up, because we have an online project management platform that we use to manage projects and be able to pull in team members from anywhere. As long as you have an internet connection, we can pull you into our team setup and give you tasks and receive videos and give feedback and all of that from our client management platform. Because we have all these digital tools, we were perfectly suited to be able to manage media like that for international clients. So COVID just kind of showed people that, hey, I don't have to be in Zimbabwe or New Zealand to do work in New Zealand. I can be in Barbados and still have that level of work being done and have that collaboration and coordination and all that stuff being done remotely. So, it's kind of a case where we were doing this thing and then COVID came along and people started saying, oh, wow, that's amazing that you can do that from where you are in the Caribbean. Another thing too was something that we had done in 2014. In 2014, we decided to do a digital publication called Bimrock Magazine. It was a digital magazine about Barbados and all the different elements of Barbados. And it had photos and videos and everything embedded in the magazine. Since COVID, because for the same forum, you can't print material and send it to people all over the world, we were able to leverage that availability of digital magazines. So you can create a digital magazine, put all the content you want in it, and then just share it. And people can flip through on their mobile devices, our laptops, our computers, and they can read all of the stories, they can watch the videos, everything digitally. So, that's a whole nother product that started to get a lot of traction since COVID. So, isn't, like I said, in every challenge, there's an opportunity. So COVID was a challenge, but it also presented opportunities to expand the minds of clients as to what services they could use to reach their audiences.
Yeah, as I say, it really in every challenges there's an opportunity, and there's a chance to learn. Because what I believe is that a lot of the clients basically are just get an opportunity to learn that the world is bigger than what them see. You know what I mean? The world is bigger than what them see, and as I just mentioned, leveraging the tools to basically do work for anybody across the world, and that's a big part of UBQT. And you know what I mean, basically we basically have a partnership where we basically I would basically do some streaming work for you guys here in Jamaica, while you guys in Barbados or anywhere the stream is coming from. I would basically take the feed and I control the production. And that's a different level. Like a lot of people would even know that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things can happen in Barbados and things can happen around here. So, and somebody from Jamaica called
And region wide too.
Do it with. Even the people that we are doing it for, them don't even know who basically control the stream. They're just watching it and they're like, you know what I mean? And you make sure you put in all the necessary things, and you make sure say you have your UPS and your backup system, so no light no go upon nobody work and them stuff there. So it's a thing where it amazing. Like sometimes I sit down and I think I say, yo, this what me are doing it amazing, because what to me and to a lot of the companies who pivoted quick in a COVID is that it open up your business to a wider market if you kind of go digital on a certain level. Yeah, it open up to a real wide market. You know what I mean? Now me I have dialogue with people in Ghana, Me have dialogue with people across America for do stuff for them. Me have dialogue with people all over the place, and it just easy, you know what I mean? Because me just like come and talk to them in a Zoom or a Skype or a WebEx or any one of these platforms is basically how we basically can do work for them. And me kind of like that because even right now I'm pushing more remote live production than on location live production, because on location
Mhm.
live production to me as a whole heap of friction. I have to pack up stuff and leave my house and go do all of these things, you know what I mean? And with remote live production, the person that's giving the information, bam, 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 or we have a meeting, this, that, that. You want this amount of person, that them tell me that, and I just do up the graphics and do up all the stuff for it and have it ready. And on the day, I just spend the 2 or 3 hours, do the job, boom, the job finish. I don't have to leave out of my area, so to speak, you know what I mean? And that is remarkable. And what I think about it is that in Barbados, because new visual media seem more to be like a underground type of thing. When I think about COVID, did COVID affect a lot of the underground type of jobs in Barbados?
Yeah, definitely. We had lockdown for maybe 2 months, 2.5 months, and you couldn't go out to shoot. You couldn't go out. You couldn't leave home, except for essentials. So that slowed down a lot of things. The tourism industry in particular was hard hit. Um, Film and production and that kind of stuff. Yeah, we got hit hard too, but I think the tourism industry really felt it a lot more than we did. Um, but thankfully, it didn't last as long as it could have, because things could have lasted a lot longer. But we were able to come out relatively quickly in comparison to some countries in the world. And right now is about learning to live with COVID, because all the information that we have suggests that this thing isn't going to go away anytime soon. So we have to get familiar with it. We have to try our best to work while being safe. Um, if I could pan to the left, you'd see that we have like a hand sanitization station in the office. We have our custom masks for new visual media. So it's about learning to live with COVID at this point, because the effects are going to be here for a while. And you can't sit and moan about how it disrupted business, and it did. Don't get me wrong, it did. But our whole ethos is always forward thinking. It's okay, that happened, things slow down, we had to maybe restructure a few things, pivot, and go again. Um, and that's what we did. Things like the partnership with you and your company and the live streaming that we are hoping to do for people all over the region. That's something that we really need to push, because that in itself is a COVID free, a COVID proof service, where even if you can't physically, come to a space, once you, like you said, get the information and plug it in, you can still run the production. And then with your skills and your graphics and all the things you do and the switching and stuff like that, we can do high quality productions right from our offices, our homes. And that's something that we have to push and let people know, this is possibly the future.
Man, it's definitely a part of the future, if you understand what I mean. Like people will still be
Yeah, yeah.
going on location and stuff like that, but as it relates to I mean offloading, because I have a couple of stuff that I do in Jamaica where I am basically controlling the production. So things are happening on a location, and I am the one who is
Mm-hmm.
controlling where it is online. You know what I mean? So it is definitely a part of the future. Now that persons understand the capability, because we are talking about you're getting one feed and splitting it into 7. So one feed you turn
Mm-hmm.
it into Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these different social media. Anywhere you want to send it, you basically can send it, and
Mm-hmm.
that actually makes it much what I call it now, much easier and much simpler for the person on the other side, because oftentimes
Mm-hmm.
bandwidth is an issue. So the
Yes.
person on the other side might have a bandwidth issue, but if you have an offloader, basically like me, like a live producer who is controlling all the production, he's on a location where bandwidth is not an issue. So he can take
Mm-hmm.
your feed and basically push it to several pages without having an issue, so to speak. And right
Wow.
now, people are linking me upon that a lot. You know what I mean? Because they have
Yeah.
bandwidth issue most places. You know what I mean? I don't. I have 100 megs up, and I'm gonna get 200 megs up shortly. So you know what I mean?
Wow.
That's one of the thing where a lot of people don't even understand them aspect there. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
just to get the information out there so persons can truly understand what a virtual
Yeah.
live producer, so to speak, offer, because a lot of people don't even understand. It's so new to them that they don't necessarily understand. Sometimes I'm talking to people and I'm trying to get them to understand the new normal and what is possible. And persons like when I tell somebody that, oh, I can have 6 talking editing Instagram, I'm like, what you mean? I can have 6 person on the screen
You don't
in
believe
Instagram
it?
having a conversation. Them like, but Instagram not just allow 2 persons. And I'm like, yes, but I can put 6 person in there. You know what I mean? And I can switch it, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I can bring myself on the screen. I can switch back to you. I can switch to me big, you small. You know what I mean? And all of this level of production and this quality is broadcast quality. And that is what I am trying to push to the world, that you don't have to limit your production, so to speak, to this almost, you know what I mean, production that don't make no sense. But you
Mm-hmm.
can have that high level quality, like, you know what I mean, new visual media level of quality. And that's the reason why we partnered to, and I never had no problem with
Mm-hmm.
partner with you guys, because it's the level of quality that you guys represent. And you know the level of quality when me represent, you're like, yo, this was a no-brainer, because this is the level of
Yeah, it makes
quality
sense.
that you want your client to do. So let's speak about quality, because oftentimes a person hear the word quality and them don't know if to quantify it, so to speak. So let's speak about quality overall, and how you would explain quality to a layman, so to speak.
Uh, quality has such different meanings. Quality really means good. And I think a lot of us take okay or decent or passable to mean good. A lot of stuff isn't good. The audio isn't good, the visuals aren't good, the angles aren't good, the editing isn't good. And we let it pass, we let it slide. For me, quality is when something is actually good. When you can look at something and say, hey, I can see no flaws in this. You know what I mean? Like, you ever? I know you produce, so you get this feeling when you watch back something that you did and you see no errors in it. Like, it's just all clean. The shots following along really nicely. Like, the story is being told. Everything is just lines up, and the music comes up and down, and everything flows. And you sit back and you watch that, and you say, "Wow, this was good." Like, watching the demo reel just now, was like, "Yo, this was a good demo reel. That was a good compilation video." Like, a lot of people don't even want that. They want good enough. You know what I mean? They don't want good. They want good enough. Oh, that's good enough. That's fine. Let's just run it. Let's just run it. Um, my other thing about quality too is that a lot of people don't know what it takes to produce good. Good requires planning. Good requires time. Good requires investment, monetary, time, personnel, whatever. You just have to invest in getting something that is good. A lot of times people come to us to do things and they don't want to invest the time. They don't want to invest the money. They don't want to invest whatever. They just want something that's good enough. They don't want something that's good because it's too much to invest in good. I don't know if you get that too. Like, people come to you and they want something done, but they don't want to spend the money, they don't want to spend the time, they want it rushed, they want it now, and they don't they
Yeah,
don't they don't necessarily care about
I,
how
I,
good it is as long as they get it.
yeah. I definitely get that, especially with what I'm trying to accomplish right now. Persons coming to me, them don't want to pay what I'm asking for. They want, an half-ass, so to speak, thing, and I'm like, that's not what I
Yeah.
represent. You know what I mean? As I can see, when you look at the works that I've been doing over the past couple of months, you realize that there's a
Yeah.
consistent level of quality in it. You know what I mean? I am not trying to drop the ball to basically satisfy you. You know what I mean? Sometimes a person come to
Mm-hmm.
me and them can't afford necessarily the cost, and because all of this is new to people, Sometimes I'm lenient with them. I'll be like, all right then. So what you can afford, and then when them tell me what them can afford, then I tell them what that brings them to basically. You know what I mean? Like what level
Mm-hmm.
I can do for them. And as I said, now is a lot of client development, a lot of trying to get persons to understand and value what I'm doing. So I've been doing a lot of work, whereas it's not the ideal cost as to what I would want from them, but I am trying to
Mm-hmm.
give them the experience, because I know that once them get this experience, whereas if I am producing your show for you and you don't have to do nothing, you don't have to worry about nothing, that
Mm-hmm.
ease of mind, they'll be like, oh, all right then, I'll make UBQT produce the show for me. So I've been doing a lot of that, you know. I mean, trying to get a lot of
Yeah, and
persons
I mean,
on.
that's why that again, that's why we partner with Ubiquity Studios, because for us, is that hassle-free experience. It's that I don't have to worry about my audio dropping out or a camera falling down, because I know Shango is going to be on top of that. He's going to make sure that everything is ready, everything is lined up, everything is ready to go, everything is tested before we go live. You know, that kind of ease of mind where I can do what I do and leave you to do what you do, and trust that you will do what you're supposed to do. You will do it properly. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah,
That's why
man.
we
That is,
could partner
but
with you
that is
and
where it
have
come
no
down to.
issues.
That is where it
Yeah,
come down
man.
to as
And
it
people
relate
pay
to
for that. That's a value proposition. You gotta pay
yes,
for that.
and
That ease of mind.
people sometimes not necessarily, because all right, the next thing is when we talk about cost versus price versus value, and a lot of persons don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that why value is the one that is most expensive is because value entails a lot more than what the price is and what it costs. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
value entails how me view what I do. Its value is not really about the client, even though the client can kind of try and dictate value. But value is about me. If me decide say I want to draw one dot on one piece of paper and decide say, yo, this value $1 million and nobody no one bite, me keep it. You know what I mean? If somebody know basically look at it and say, all right then, this
I
costs a
see the
million
value
dollar,
in
me
that.
willing to pay for it. Him see say,
Mm-hmm.
yo, this have the level of value where me subscribe to it and say, yo, this is the value where me have feet, and him willing to pay it. Then you basically, you know, you got to market. So that is one of the things that I wouldn't say I've been struggling with, but I am
Mm-hmm.
trying to structure my price so it can work for almost anybody, because I realize I'm doing a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work for the individual man. And I don't want me the individual man come and look, and when him go up on the website, because the website is not launched yet, but it's
Mm-hmm.
about to be there. I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous, because at the end of the day, I want to be able to work for the individual man based on my vision for the company. I want to be able to work for
Mm-hmm.
companies, but I also want to be able to give the individual man the opportunity to use a service like this, because individual man now, you know, when I look on Instagram, and that's the thing about what I'm doing and what we are trying to do. When I look on Instagram, I
Mm-hmm.
see 500 shows. How many of them look like this?
Yeah. Few.
You know what I mean? Few, and the consistency, the level of quality, how the show can switch and change, and you know what I mean, depends on what's happening. We're showing pre-roll, we're showing B-roll. If we want background music, we can put in background music, and that level of engagement, that level of energy where you put into the production of the show, it's not there, and it's the same level of energy and production that a new visual media that put into their production
Yeah.
when they're doing their show, and that is the reason why it have a
100%.
certain cost and a certain value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
oftentimes that is one of the challenge as creatives. People just don't want to pay. They wouldn't mind them get it for free. So how
Yeah.
you combat that?
I would say that we've been fortunate for the most part. We do, like I said, we have high level clients. And the thing with high level clients is, even though they're high level clients, it doesn't always mean they want to spend, $1 million or whatever on the budget for production of media. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Um, it's a bit of holding your ground too, and just letting people know, hey, you engage us because we take ourselves seriously. So before it even comes to you, it's how we view ourselves, how we view what we do. Like you said, value. We value what we do. So you come to us because we will give that value to you on your product. So if I'm doing a video for whoever, I will put the same level of attention to detail, quality, planning to that video, because that's our standard as in visual media. Some clients don't see the value in that. They don't see why their cousin has a camera and he could do it for $50. Why you charging me $100? Because I went to school and I learned how to do this. Again, I've leveraged my skills to people all over the world who have valued them. So if you don't value them, that says a lot about you and nothing about me. I have to hold my ground and I have to charge what I charge because I know the level of production I am going to give you. I know that my time and my energy and my effort that I will put into your project. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna come once you engage us. So you have to pay for that because I can't take your job and then say, oh well, you're not paying me what I asked for, so I'm gonna give you 10%. Because then it reflects badly on me and my company and everything that we do. So we can't drop our quality to fit your budget. You just have to, if we can't work together, and I say this to people all the time, if our budgets don't align, if we can't work together, if we are out of out of what you had planned to spend, that is okay. I am very willing to pass you off to somebody who may be willing to work with you at a lower price. And we've done that before. We've given work to different creatives in Barbados and around the region too. If you come to me for something in Jamaica and I know somebody in Jamaica that can do it, and my price is too much for you, that I send you directly to the person that here, that's whoever, somebody I know, somebody I trust, engage them,
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm not afraid to walk away from potential jobs that don't serve our best interests because running a company is hard. You would know running a company is hard, and especially when you have employees, it's not just you that you have to think about. You have to think about your staff. You have to think about their families, and making sure that this business survives so that they can continue to provide for their families. And if you just let clients walk all over you and take whatever they're willing to toss your way, you won't be able to do that, not sustainably at least. So when it comes to pricing and people not wanting to value what we do, we have to remain very firm on that. You know?
Definitely, definitely. Something that, I'm always having this conversation with various creatives across the world, how do one value themselves, How do you look at your costs or your what you
Mm-hmm.
charge for basically do a client work. And oftentimes, as I say, a client come to you, them not necessarily value what you do, so them feel like them can tell you what it's supposed to cost. You're like, well, it's not really so it work. I me
Nah.
determine that, not you. So if you don't have the budget for this, sorry, use somebody else. It's like one of the
Yeah.
things that been happening with me out here is a lot of persons been linking me about funerals. I personally not
Mm-hmm.
interested in funerals. But persons have been
Mm.
linking me. So when them link me now, I'm like, all right, then since I'm not interested in funerals, the value of that gone up. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
if I must leave my house for funeral, you have to give me 1,000 US or you have to give me 2,000 US. And every time I say that,
Mm-hmm.
like all the funeral them just disperse. Everybody just run up and down, you know what I
And
mean?
that's okay by you because you know
Yes.
that for you
Yeah, like
for you
I'm
to
not
give
really
a hundred
interested.
percent at a funeral, it would take too much off of you. So you
Yeah.
have to be compensated for that.
Yes. So what I mean? I say I'm not really interested in funerals. So when a person come to me about funeral,
Yeah.
him just basically make me up the price than what me the regular charge, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's
I
it's
mean,
it's a thing.
I can't even do that. I just, if I'm not interested, I kindly suggest somebody else to do it.
No,
Because
it's
the thing with us is that I know creatives all over. So if I get something, I'm like, nah, I'm
the
gonna give it to someone who could use that money and who would be interested in that.
the thing now with live streaming and stuff like that, especially in Jamaica, is that it's very difficult for recommend people because we have
Mm.
other
Yeah, well,
companies
live
out
stream is a
here
different
we
service
do
altogether.
live streaming, but sometimes them quality questionable, them you're not sure
Mm.
what level of quality. So I don't want to recommend nobody and then you hear say, oh, so them did recommend them and then a person will look for me away. So
I
I
mean,
rather not
you got what you
recommend
pay
nobody.
for. You didn't want to pay for UBQT Studios, so
Yeah.
you get what you pay for.
And some of you look on it, and I mean, some person want to come to you, them want a $50 design. If you do design something for them, and you give them the $50
Mm-hmm.
design, so to speak, basically, what I call it now, you have your integrity and how you do your thing. Probably the best way is
Mm-hmm.
to go is just not to take it. But if you do a design for them, and then you give them a $50 design, they're like, but I never want this. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you never want to pay them more, so oh, you want more than this. So that is the reason why you use your integrity most time and say, oh, you know, no? I'm not interested because you
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily want to do this $50 design, so to speak. You know what I mean? So it's one
Yep.
of them things that where
Yep.
it's weird. It's weird and you have to manage it. You definitely basically have to manage the whole aspect of it, so to speak. So it's a thing whereas me as a creative right now is basically is just to manage this thing right as we speak, you know what I mean, and try and build out
Mm-hmm.
this company, you know what I mean. Just sort out all of the necessary things them. So me I operate not as Shango, but me I operate fully now as basically UBQT Studios. So a person that talk to a
Nice.
company as opposed to a talk to me. You know what I mean? So when me start
Yeah.
get the staff and all of these things can happen without me being in Jamaica or being anywhere, you know what I mean? So it's a energy where you have to develop as a businessman to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
And once
Yeah.
you take on, as I said, once you take on employees, you have more stress. You know what I mean? You have more things to
Yeah.
think about. So them time the man come to you, they even each will tell him say, yo, use somebody else, because I'm not time for waste with you know. I'd rather spend my time develop my
And
product than if I spend my time and develop your product and you not pay me what me want. So I'm gonna say,
mm-hmm.
brother, it's a thing where as creatives we face it. And we face it in Jamaica, we face it around the Caribbean. But let's speak about regional work because as you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that Jamaicans don't do regional work, but I realize that
Mm-hmm.
regional work sometime. I don't know if it's where the head office of a lot of these companies are, but regional work
That's a big part of it.
sometimes seems to be more on the other side. And the thing about Jamaica is that I sometimes say Jamaican and the Caribbean, based on where the other side Caribbean them located. You know, it's in the Caribbean, but we are talking about the local islands and where we send to associate ourselves with. We are not nowhere near them. It's 600 US to come
Yeah.
to Trinidad and Barbados side, and it's basically 200 US to go to US. You know what I mean? So
Miami.
is
Yeah.
is is that
Yeah.
when you look
Jamaica.
for regional work? Is that the cause for the regional work because the head office is more down that side and them kind of see Jamaica say like they're far or whatever?
I don't think so. I think is well that does help, and I think that has helped us in Barbados specifically because a lot of the head offices of a lot of places are in Barbados. So let me not lie and say, oh, that's not the reason. That is the reason sometimes. Flying to Jamaica is expensive, um, and that's a big part of it. I think the regional travel in general is expensive, but Jamaica being up there is expensive. I used to study in Jamaica, and I can tell you, it's expensive, man. So that's definitely a factor as well. But interest, because I think a lot of companies from Jamaica do work. I've seen people from Jamaica down here and in other Caribbean islands doing work too. So it's not that; it's just about finding it. I think that's the difficult part: finding and engaging a lot of these regional organizations on doing more expansive work for them. That's the challenge. Um, Fortunately, New Visual Media has been able to get into a niche where a lot of these regional institutions know who we are. And oftentimes, when they have calls for proposals or a request of interest or any kind of procurement process, someone would send us an email or we would see it on procurement websites or whatever. So I think that's kind of how we have been fortunate to get a lot of this information. But there are things that we don't see, and there are projects that we don't get. So I know that someone else out there is getting a lot of work all over the region because we send in lots of proposals. Up to today, I sent in a proposal to do some work around the region, and we don't always win them. Other companies, other organizations win these proposals and get to do this really exciting and engaging work. I would like to think that the organizations who do get the work are regional organizations, but as we know, that's not always the case. Um, but yeah, it's about knowing where to look for regional work. That's really what it is. That's really what it is. It's knowing where to look, and then obviously building the relationships when you do get the opportunities. Because a lot of these organizations have to present multiple candidates for a project. So if they have a, say for instance, if the UNDP has a project, they have to submit 3 different proposals, and then the board would choose which one they want to go with. But it's obviously knowing where those proposals, where those requests for proposals are, so that you can, send in yours.
Okay. So basically, yes, almost everybody have a fair bid to it. It's just you have to have the information to basically get your
Yeah.
bid in, so to speak. So as I say,
Yes.
it's a thing where I don't know, like it's just where Jamaica located, because it would be so much easy, or if Jamaica was right there in the Eastern Caribbean, so to speak. You know what I mean? Down that side there.
Nah, nah.
You know what I mean?
I love Jamaica. So, like you know this.
Yeah.
I really love Jamaica and where it is, and everything about it. Jamaica is such an idyllic place to be. It has such energy, has such vibe. And Jamaica's proximity to North America is a huge advantage that you guys don't even see.
No, 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 no,
Like
no, no,
for
no.
me,
It has its advantage and
for
disadvantage,
sure,
because let me tell you,
100%.
it's not we don't see it, is more the
Mm-hmm.
government some of the time even leverage it. Because all right, think about even custom
Mm-hmm.
here, which is a big
Mm-hmm.
issue. We have, bruv, bringing in stuff into Jamaica is like a heartache.
Mm.
And we are so close to America, if you understand what I mean. It takes
Yeah, well,
two,
regular
three
shipping
days
routes.
to get, but we are paid double times their money. If you bring a car from America to Jamaica and your car costs $1 million, custom want $1 million from you.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know what I
well, that's
mean?
the same in Barbados. When
These
it comes to
things
things like vehicles.
these things should be so easy, and them don't understand that these things have ramification upon the industry, the culture, and all these things, because musician can't bring in them music tool. They might have to go through one bag of red tape to get them sing. Creatives can't bring
Mm.
in them creative tools. They might have to hide and a
Yeah.
pilgrimage and all these things. So them
Yeah.
don't even know
Same
say to
here.
affect the entire space overall, because the creative they might have better tools, if the musician they might have better tools, if Jamaica operate on a certain level, we could operate like the music capital that we are. We just not really basically see it and move like that. So it's weird, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. It's a conversation for your next basically live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In Barbados, we have similar issues. Credit to our government. They had instituted the Cultural Industries Development Fund. And with that came a whole bunch of different things trying to help the creatives. One was duty free importation of equipment towards the production, which is great. But the other side of that is the red tape, the bureaucracy that you have to go through to get this. Like this came into effect maybe 2 years ago, and to this day we have not used it because it's so difficult to navigate. And I mean, they have people to help you navigate it, but it's still a lot of
It's so
bureaucracy.
government, bruv. It's just so
Yeah,
government, and
yeah.
the same thing
A lot of
here. You
bureaucracy.
know what I mean? Because
But they're trying. Let me try to, I mean, I don't want to trash the government like that
we
when
we
they're
have
trying.
something similar here too, but it is so
Mm-hmm.
government. It's just so difficult to basically
That's the
deal with. So
problem.
nobody deals
The
with it.
bureaucracy, man. The
Yeah,
bureaucracy.
man. Nobody want to deal with it because it's just so difficult to deal with. And as I said, brother, we could have a next live speaking about all these woes, so to speak, as a creative and trying to do what you
Yeah,
want to do at a
sure.
certain level, and it just a cause bigger problem because these people are not making it easy. Imagine this, bruv. If we live in America, we can just rent stuff from Barlands.
Oh, whew,
You know what? We could
whew.
have we could have do wildest dreams. We could have just say,
Wow.
oh, we have a production to
To
do. Red. 5 reds.
Yeah, just go rent a RE. Just go
Yeah,
on set, shoot, return it,
shoot and
boom.
send it back. Imagine
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
It just
I
blow your
want to do
mind.
something. I want to do something similar in Barbados. But that's legacy. We
Yeah,
have immediate goals and we have legacy goals. Legacy goals, we want to be able to do that because we have so many talented creatives here in Barbados who don't have the resources to go and
tools.
buy a red or buy a Ari or buy a jib or some Ari lights or any this really nice equipment that everyone would love to work with. They don't have the money to go and buy it. I don't have the money to go buy it. That stuff is expensive,
Yeah,
especially with the level of work that you're getting. You don't get to shoot $100,000 projects every week or every month, so you kind of have to do with what you have. But if we could just rent it, they just go and rent this nice camera to do this particular type of work, and that would definitely boost the industry.
but as me say, it's a hard sell, and it's some things that we as creatives have to go through. You know what I mean? Like we have to sit down and try and navigate this space. And I would say the system itself not necessarily a help. It not necessarily a
Yeah.
help with navigating the space, because
Yeah.
we basically just a try our best. We just a try our best for basically try we are trying our best to basically just try and work with what we have. And then the artist thing is that I believe that make we more resilient, because some of the
Yes.
time the
Creative.
limited equipment what we have we make it work, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that make you push your creativity and your level of talent, so to speak, to a different level.
Yeah.
And I would have said that is the reason why sometimes even Jamaicans are so talented when it comes to certain things, because you have this limited basically amount of resources for work with, and you have to
Yep. And you
basically
gotta
make
make
it
the
work.
most of it.
Yeah, you have to make it work, because even though it's limited, nobody now look at you and say, yo, you're limited, Everybody want to see the end result. And the end result
Mm-hmm.
is where the people them start give the praise. Oh, the end result, the end result. But at the end of the day, if you do have the resources, some of my brethren when them fly out go foreign and them go on other people and them basically start the work, and them say, yo, oh, you're so talented. And the man I say, yo, we kind of have to be this talented in Jamaica, because otherwise we wouldn't survive. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
like myself,
Yep.
photographer, videographer, live producer, you know what I mean? This, that. We have to have basically multiple disciplines and try and sometimes focus on one to kind of navigate this space. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
it weird. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. And I'm glad if you have a man like you on the show for kind of give your insight as to how you see it, and kind of give you a different perspective, because each country, each Caribbean country have different perspective, different ways how things
Yeah.
happen here and there and everywhere. You know what I mean? Even when I talk to persons from UK, persons from America, they have a different perspective. But brother, the time I run out. As a matter of fact, the time almost run out. We're there 1 hour already, and you know that
Well, it
when
was good
creatives
talking to you,
attack,
brother, all the time.
yeah, man. When creatives attack, the talking just happen. You know what I mean? They talk for
Yeah.
hours.
Time
Because
flies.
it's a talk and a talk and a talk and a talk and a talk. So it's a pleasure, brother, to have you on the show. Like it's always a pleasure to all a reason, and me always all a reason.
Yeah.
Send DMs even if we're not constantly attack. We
Yeah. Yeah.
always
Yeah.
DM
True.
and stuff like
True.
that. Me see a picture, me send you a DM like, yo, I like this or whatever the case may be, and
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Anytime I come over the Barbados side, when me that run up and down, I always try and make
Have
sure
to
I link your car. May I say, yo,
for
may
sure.
I keep the link same way, you see me? And
All
as
the
I said,
time.
brother,
And
it's
when
a
I've been
pleasure.
in Jamaica, yeah, man, all the time.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure, and I'm glad to say yo, I get you a company show and all a reason with you. And thanks again, brother. So
Yeah.
we're gonna run the outro,
No problem.
finalize the show, and you know what I mean? As I
Yeah,
say,
man.
blessings and guidance and respect again, brother.
All the time. Blessings.